All right, welcome back, everybody. We got a badass guest today. His name is RJ Evans. How you doing, RJ?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Considering it's a lot warmer where you are than it is here, you don't have a lot of room to complain.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it feels great down here in Florida.
Yeah, two of us on our end of the country are wearing long sleeve shirts out of necessity.
Yeah, I'm actually in I'm in basketball shorts and one of my t-shirts. So
Hell yeah.
And this is pretty much what I wear 24/7.
So real quick, let's get right into it. You make some pretty fucking sweet shirts. So tell me, like, where did this idea come from? Well, like, what was the thing that got you to be like, I'm fucking making my own shirts?
Well, I mean, everybody knows grunt style and 9-line and whatever, but my ideals don't really line up with something, they're mediocre takes. I want something that's a lot more in your face and a lot more direct. So I just kind of looking around. I mean, there's a couple libertarian type shirt brands and stuff wherever, and they're doing their thing. But I just felt like there was a perfect little gap for just kind of widespread hardcore liberty type shirts. And like the one that I have on right now is the Come and Nuke Me, which is a special that is inspired by Eric Swalwell. He said, government has nukes, and it's like, all right, bro, I got my AR-15, I got my kit, go ahead, come and nuke me. But yeah, dude, I just felt there's a gap there. And why not take a stab at it and see if if I can get something rolling. And honestly, man, I'm looking at some opportunities to make a transition into more financial independence, family independence. I want to homeschool my kids, and I want to keep everything real close to home. So this is kind of one of the avenues in which I'm doing it. So beyond the gap of trying to fill a need for more hardcore material, it also serves the purpose of kind of segueing me and my family into our next step of being independent and expressing our liberty.
So I'm assuming you get most of your inspiration for t-shirts just in like everyday news, or where do you kind of like go to first? You're like, all right, I need something new. Where do you go?
So with the Saito, we the purpose of the brand is to start conversations. So it's kind of one of those things that has kind of come and gone as far as like my tagline, but it is really at the essence of it. I want shirts that provoke some type of conversation, whether that is an inquisitive conversation, or maybe you make a friend because maybe you see my shirt and say, I feel the exact same way. We should go to the range sometime or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I think I mean, not to cut you off or anything, but like the idea that you have a kind of a brand with a mission and kind of like a purpose, and I don't think I've ever heard of another, especially apparel brand that says, I mean you got Nike, like just do it, but like this is like, I mean, your desire is to start a conversation. I mean, that's so out of the box thinking, but at the same time it's like, well, duh.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what like we want to do with our brand
Mm-hmm.
is to invoke a conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's ever been stated that way. So like I just give you just props right off the bat for that, because that's awesome to have a business like
it's
that.
cool that the focus is conversation and not reactions,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because it'd be so easy. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I come from the den of edgelords and stuff, like some of my best friends are just online to see how many heads they can make explode. But but really the idea for me is to take conversations to the next level. Now, you were saying like what kind of inspires some of the designs. One of the biggest things that inspires designs is history that's not talked about.
Oh, I love that.
There's a few shirt designs that are kind of in the drawing board phase. Like I have several ideas.
Is one of those the one that we were talking about a couple days ago?
I don't know. You can go ahead and put it out there because I mean it's not that big of a deal. What?
The Fred Phelps one.
Oh no! Goodness!
Oh, God damn it!
He's like, goodness.
I'm gonna make it my life's mission to get you to make that shirt.
Well, see, man. But no. So, for instance, I have a couple of shirts that I had started out with whenever I started the brand, but I pulled them down because I felt like it wasn't anything to do with giving a damn about what people think or feel, but it was about the fact that I felt like the design could have been better. But one of those is Ruby Ridge, and of course, like everybody in the Liberty Zone or in the the firearms community and stuff, like a lot of people know that stuff, but normies, people that walk around and see the shirt might not. It might stop you and ask you a question, and you can explain things. Like people in my life, family and whatnot that aren't super deep into, politics and history or government or anything, like a lot of them really don't know the extent of Ruby Ridge or Waco or move bombings in Philadelphia.
Well, Waco's the big one for me because I'm like, everything that if you want to look something up about it, it all is solely like focused on the cult aspect of it. They're just talking about the Branch Davidians. They're just talking about maybe David Koresh was a piece of shit to the women in that church or something like that. That is the primary and almost solitary focus is just that. They never talk about the ATF. They never talk about the fact that like the ATF's fucking budget was under review, and so they had to create this fucking domestic terrorist scenario to justify their money.
The ATF was real close to being dissolved leading up to the Waco incident. They felt the federal government, the folks in the federal law enforcement stuff didn't really see a need. They just figured they were going to sweep it back under and make it basically a branch of the FBI, mainly for alcohol and tobacco. So it was going to be nothing really. It was going to be one of those moments where it's like, all right, well, they don't really need this whole branch, but of course they stirred up this and a couple other smaller incidents.
And we're seeing that again. I mean, like between the kidnapping plot for Whitmer and this January 6th. I mean, these are all giant excuses for budget increases.
For sure. Yeah.
And justification.
And see, these are the types of things that you can expose in conversation. And I do. Whenever I talk to people, I'm like, look, it's a stair step thing. Like, hey, all right, so this is messed up, but let me tell you about why the next level of that's messed up. And then let's apply it to today. Let's look around and see, what this reminds us of. But yeah, so, I have a shirt that says, in a world of Jeff Doucette's, be a Gary Plotch, which most people are familiar with, but not everybody's familiar with the iconic video of what'd you do with Gary?
That brutal assault.
Yeah. And honestly, I have a certain place in my heart, and it's a dark one for people that hurt kids. And I think that Gary Plotch handled that appropriately. But yeah, I have a shirt for that. And then, I'm working on a couple other shirts, especially, around money. But I have, you actually have one, is the In the Fed shirt, abolish the IRS, all kinds of good stuff. But it all leads to explaining things like the creation of the Federal Reserve, the creation and the illegality of federal income tax. Like all these things can come from the abolish the IRS shirt. It can come from the in the Fed shirt, but it breaks down these walls. And it allows certain conversations to happen. But back around to what you're asking is, yeah, that some of the stuff is newer. Like I have the shirt that I just put out that says, say no to pandemic amnesty, or the safe and effective is now sudden. Um, oh, sorry. Uh,
Was it sudden and unexpected?
no, yeah, sudden and unexpected.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
right on my own stuff.
Well, can I ask a question about especially
Yep.
the shirts that have a historical background to them?
Mhm.
Because especially on some of the more obscure stuff,
Yeah.
I'm wondering, and just throwing this out there as maybe a business idea, but including like a 3x5 card that gives some context to the shirt, because
Mhm.
I think to your point about like starting a conversation, like maybe you have an idea of like what the shirt means, but you don't really understand, you're not very good at actually explaining it to others when somebody might
Absolutely.
ask you. So
Hmm.
to have like a 3x5 card, or have an explanation of like here, or like maybe a QR code to say, here's a link to why this is important, or why you don't know this and you should know this.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Dude, that I love the idea. And it's something that had come across my mind. One thing, well, two things to that. So one thing that I want to do, and this is kind of more of a SEO type situation, is for the website, is to go back and um kind of put more of a descriptor in the description box for each design. One, because it helps whenever people are searching and don't know Decido, that they can find it, or potentially find it. But also kind of to fill in some gaps, or to give ammo to people that may want to wear it and have a conversation wearing that shirt, right? Now, currently, with the way that my distribution is set up for my shirts, it makes it a little tricky to include special things. So, like an extra business card or a thank you note or whatever is something that um, isn't easily inserted. Now, I could on the back end, especially while I'm getting my wheels rolling. I could definitely um, go in and kind of do that on the back end, and send out like a separate uh, envelope or something, like a separate letter, and
with
I
with
could
with the
probably
end
do that.
goal of like growing your company to be to do everything in house, because
100%.
that
Yeah.
would totally give you that option to be able to
Yeah,
include
for sure.
various things. And yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of one of the big things, is that right now, everything is legit. It's a legit business. Everything's good to go, but it is, I'm outsourcing some of the work, just because the startup costs on screen printing and stuff is crazy.
Right.
The end goal for me, which is to expand and be able to employ more people, especially in the area that I'm in. Uh, the jobs aren't Florida. Everybody kind of knows that it's uh, hospitality, tourism. That's the real big product down here.
Yeah, the bread and butter.
Yeah, but people are looking for more companies to come here and open up factories, shops, all that kind of, like places that people can actually go and work and make a decent amount of money. And I would love to be able to do that for our local community here. And then also, to that point, it opens up a range of things I can do to improve the branding. Um, which, if you, I'll go ahead and say this, so a lot of people will notice, like, I don't have anything on the sleeves, and that partially is on purpose, because I felt like um, with the other brands, uh, Nine Line, Grunt Style, and stuff like that, you're kind of a walking advertisement. And while that's good for business, it also, to me, it just doesn't feel legit. I feel like if you like my stuff enough, and you're going to have a conversation with the person wearing it, or you're somebody who's wearing it, I look forward to you enjoying the feel, the look, and the message of the shirt to open your mouth and say like, hey, this is DeSido, go check them out. You know, maybe a cursed idea, but I see so many people walking around. I'm like, yeah, that's, it reminds me of like we used to joke on people who wear Apostle shirts, and say like, be like, look, like you just bought a $25 shirt to basically be a walking billboard.
I'm old enough to have like the Stussy. Do you remember the Stussy? Like,
oh man,
that was a big brand in the 90s.
Yeah,
it was Stussy, and I can't
was
remember.
it?
There was another one.
Wasn't that a It was a skateboard brand too, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
but it had a really cool logo. It
Yeah.
was like a really cool, like almost it was cursive, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point about the brand becomes more important than the message.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think you're spot on about I'm wearing the brand because it's hot. I'm not wearing the shirt because of what it conveys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you could tie those two together to have a brand and a message that are both screaming the same thing.
Well, that's what I think that's what I think
The end
you've
goal.
been able to do. Is as far as the messaging that's on your shirts. And the one that I'm thinking of is the fighter jet one that you sent me, that I did a TikTok for. And on the it shows a fighter jet on the front, which has 2A written on it, and on the back it's got the fucking black and white American flag. It looks like one of those like military, like tough road military shirts.
Yeah.
But it's got a fighter jet on there, and it says normalize citizen-owned civilian-owned fighter jets. And that I think is the perfect level of like extreme and like curiosity almost. Because you see that shirt and you're like, oh, it's some dude, bro. Does that say civilian-owned fighter jets?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you're like, wait a minute, what?
But
like,
that's the kind of thing that we like to do with our brand.
Well, yeah, that's
we
the
love
sort
the
of
state, but yet we're totally like anarchists or close to, at least ANCAPs. But like, I love that play.
Yeah, I think we nailed it with the name.
Yeah. But I'm like, ooh, business partner. What can we do together?
But anyway,
I'm always open to collab, or at least, at the very least, brainstorm and whatnot.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, so basically what I was saying about your messaging is it hurts. It hits that like perfect pitch.
And sometimes if it hits too hard, it could hurt.
But
that's the objective.
I just mean like that extremely dead on center of everything that needs to be talked about, and like in the Venn diagram between like educational and edgy, it hits right smack dab in the middle.
And that's not easy to achieve.
No.
But I love the fact that that's kind of your goal, is to say, I want to, because I love history. I like that's probably outside of politics and photography, that's probably the two bigger ones, but like history is huge, and especially the history that isn't taught, right? That's the history that I find more fascinating than anything. Is like, this is an inconvenient truth and it doesn't fit the narrative, so we're going to brush it under the rug. And so anybody who calls it out for what it is and puts it on display, specifically for you, is like, it's on your chest. You're wearing facts of history that people either don't know or they're just ignorant about. I love that kind of stuff. So that's super exciting.
So
what was the first shirt that you made for DeSido?
Let's see. What was my first one? So one of my, let me see. I think I actually have it down here.
And part B to that question, where did you come up with the name?
All right, I'll tell you the name. Hold on.
Wait, you sure you don't want to keep that a secret?
No, I'm gonna tell it.
All right.
Yeah, I thought I had it down here. My first one is one of the first ones. The first one that really like hit was a smiley face, and it's still up on the website. A smiley face, and it says, "You are the carbon they want to replace." And it hits perfect, and it's one of the most popular shirts. I've sold a bunch of them, and people that see it, they're just like, "That's awesome." And I've had people that bought it, that wear it, and they're like, "Dude, this shirt gets the best laugh, stares, and I hear you, brother," or whatever. Yeah, that's probably my first. That was one of the first shirts. Now, I had a Ruby Ridge and a Waco shirt, like I said earlier, but I took it down because the styling needs to be redone. I'm still kind of working it,
rethinking it,
resituating it.
Before you go on, I do have one little claim to fame with Ruby Ridge. So my mom is a nurse, and she's worked in ERs for 150,000 years, and we lived in Washington during the Ruby Ridge debacle, and the dude's brother was air flighted to my mom's hospital in Spokane, Washington, and my mom got to take care of him directly.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So
that's pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm pretty much famous.
Now you are.
Yeah, well, I have a friend that goes into a diner in Idaho that one of his the youngest daughter still works at, so that's kind of cool.
It's not a dick measuring contest, dude. It's no big deal. I mean,
that's all right. It's a mutual friend. It's somebody you know.
So it's in Idaho. I know who it is.
So as far as the name goes,
we only know like 16 different people that actually live in Idaho. It narrows it down quite a bit. Now, so yeah, the name. So I am kind of a whatever serial entrepreneur or failed serial entrepreneur. But a few years ago, sorry, I just bumped this table. If it fed back,
no, you're good.
But so several years ago, I really started into this, like, hey, I need to kind of branch out and do something else. And one of the first things I wanted to do was either open a gun range or start like a simunition training facility. So like real looking pistols that shoot like they're like an eighth of the powder, and they shoot out like a plastic projectile, and you can like go through like a shoot house or wherever and practice home defense, whatever. So anyways, I was trying to I was brainstorming some ideas and looking at some places wherever I live back in Kentucky, and I was kind of brainstorming and shooting some names back and forth or wherever, like different things, and Decido seemed to be a hilarious one. And I told, the reason why Andy said, "You sure we want to bring it up?" Because I told him before, I was like, I don't know if I want to run with this. And really, you won't find it on any of my branding for a purpose. But it is a good way to remind people if you're trying to spell it, but it is "Don't shoot your dick off." And I thought it'd be a hilarious thing to name a gun range "Don't shoot your dick off," right? Because obviously that should be like rule number 1A of firearm safety is don't shoot your dick off.
Don't shoot yourself in the foot. I mean, anything. Yeah.
I would put the rule of not shooting your dick above
that's
ahead of not shooting your foot. Yeah. Man, I could live without a foot.
Yep, and you have 2 feet.
Okay? Yeah. I don't have 2 dicks.
Yeah. But anyway, so like I said, I don't have it in branding, and the reason for that is because this shirt, the original, which there may be a couple that exist out there, say come and nuke me, bitch. And I wanted, after rethinking, I was like, I want my brand to be as far reaching as possible. And I understand, especially as a father, I don't my kid can't read yet, but I don't get super excited when my kids around people that are acting like crazy and cussing up a storm or whatever, just for decency purposes. But the shirts, I was like, I want everybody to be like, I can wear this. I can go.
You can wear it at church, like
you could wear this at you could wear this at a church function. Like it's perfectly fine. But the previous, you couldn't. And if that's your gathering place, like I want you to have a conversation there too. So I dropped that from like that slogan or whatever from the title, but I felt like the name still was perfect. So that's how DeSido came about. But if you ever want to remind somebody, for anybody out there, or you want to remind yourself, that's a real easy way to keep.
I will never forget it from now on.
Right?
Like, I don't want to shoot my dick off, and so like, don't do it. Yeah. Clear, very. That's brilliant.
See, that's why I was like, oh man, are you sure? Because I'm like, that would be a cool, like, only people in the know type thing.
Here's the thing. Pretty much going forward from this podcast, anybody who hasn't seen this podcast or spoke to me personally, like obviously somebody could go back and find this, but that would kind of be the people that are in the know. It's not something that I talk about often.
So everybody, this is an exclusive, but don't tell anybody.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead and share this to all of your friends. But no, the thing is that, like I said, it's not part of my branding. It won't be part of my branding. But it is what it is. Everybody has stories. Everybody has, where things came from, origin stories and all that stuff. So it's cool. It doesn't really bother me. And, like I said, it's not a big deal.
Well, I love the name DeSido. It's like, I don't know. It's got this sort of provocative kind of feel to it. It's like a good word. And I think it's got an excellent ring to it.
It definitely provokes action.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a, so whenever I decided to use it, excuse me. I ate too much pizza and it's giving me
little acid reflex. Yeah.
So no, whenever I decided to use it, I was kind of doing some looking into, like what makes a good name, right? And there's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, Adidas, Nike, like it's all just, one click and out your mouth, Now there's other stuff out there, obviously, like, Murcielago or Lamborghini Murcielago or, Abercrombie and Fitch or something, like longer. There's always going to be, longer names, but whenever you're dealing with like a apparel brand or something, most stuff goes with something that you can say like in 1 or 2 syllables, and it's pretty direct. So made me stick with it. There's a couple other options on the table. I don't even really remember them because the DeSido was so at the forefront. And now the actual logo is DeSido, like apparel company, and man, like that looks crisp.
Yeah.
Like when I put
your logo looks fucking sick.
It looks crisp. So I like it, and I'm happy that I chose it, stuck with it. And
we've got a good eye for that stuff, dude, because even the designs on your shirt, they just look like professional. They don't look cheap. They don't look like you went to your local t-shirt store and just said, hey, can you MS Paint this for me? Like they look sharp.
Do you do a lot of all the design work in house? Is that all you?
Yeah. So everything, the only shirt that I didn't design 100% is the civilian, normalized civilian fighter jets. So that one, just mainly because it was a time sensitive project, and it was right after Joe Biden had said, you need you have AR-15s and you need a
F-15 or whatever.
Come on, man, whatever. I was like, bro, I got to make this shirt quick. So and I had a couple ideas, and the application was just, I was failing, and I was like, look, I got to do something. So I crowdsourced that one. The idea is mine, but the actual, you have to understand, I have no I have no graphic design background like whatsoever.
Mhm.
So everything that I've done so far is 100% me up until that point. And had I felt like I had another week to make it, then I would have taken a little bit more time. Now the fighter jet on the front, the one that has a fighter jet and the 2A in it, I did that. But the back, it was a layering issue, and now I know how to do it.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was just a matter of, hey, I'll pitch you a couple bucks,
Mhm.
get this over here, and but yeah, other than that, everything's in house, and I intend for it to stay that way as long as I possibly can.
Mhm.
Well, especially if you get to the point where you're looking at growth and actually bringing on additional people. Like I've dabbled a little bit in Illustrator, which I'm sure is that's a big thing for graphic design. But to have a kind of a team, it's one thing that I love, having this podcast with Andy is there is that back and forth that, what do you think about this? And like, to be able to have that as a kind of almost like a group effort or a team effort, like,
Yeah.
I think it's almost priceless. So
For sure. And like that down the road, obviously I'll bring some people in that are much higher trained and have a lot more experience, and then I'll just be able to, like, hey, this is my crazy idea, this is like whatever. It's like Elon
then you can do more on the concept side.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Like, I can come up with ideas, I can kind of give the rundown, and then they can do their magic.
Yeah.
But
That's super exciting, because I mean that's the majority of the work is coming up with the concept, and then it's just a matter of tweaking that to how does it look on paper, so to speak, and does it convey the message that the concept is pushing for.
Right.
Because you kind of want to punch in the gut, especially on a t-shirt, because like, it is sometimes you're walking by somebody on the street, they get a glimpse of it, they get a glance, and it needs to be impactful enough for them to take a second look.
Yeah.
Or to say, hey,
because like if you get that second look, they're sold. Like, if you get that first double take, they're gonna go home and Google it.
well,
Or they're gonna think about it a year
they
from
will
now.
ask you, and they'll say, hey,
Yeah.
your t-shirt, like, what does that mean? Or you're like, give me a backstory, or that's awesome, where'd you find it?
Yeah. But I mean, even I think one of the most important things is, because the person who goes, hey, and like stops you and talks to you because of your t-shirt, they either already agree with you or they're picking a fight,
Yeah.
Right.
because but
Either way, it's
people who do that-
impactful.
either way it's
Yeah,
impactful.
absolutely.
But the person that does the double take, they're gonna go home and they're gonna Google it,
Right.
and they're gonna be like, what, civilian on fighter jets and the Second Amendment, why do those things relate to each other, and
Right.
so they're going to start looking into it.
And that's the beautiful, I mean, because you're basically turning people into a walking billboard
For
an
liberty.
idea.
Yeah, for liberty.
So, like, to be able to do that, have it catchy, and have it like, a cool design enough to be able to, get people's eyes, and then have a message behind it. Like, that's a fine line. It's not easy to walk,
Yeah.
but when you can do it, it's so impactful.
Yeah.
And people will line up in droves.
Mhm.
So, like, kudos to you for like coming up with the idea and then being able to deliver on it. Like, that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate it.
So what are your plans for the future for Decido?
Well, essentially, I am still in I'm still in an infant stage. So I started Decido back in March of this year. So I am quickly coming up on 1 year anniversary, and I essentially, I want to, obviously I need everybody's support, and so that I can be able to take the next steps, right? But ultimately, the goal is to have it my day job, my normal job, like the thing that I do to pay the bills, right?
Right.
And with that, the goal is to compete with the grunt styles and the 9 lines. And I know that is lofty, but I think it's important for Liberty. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more that we settle for mediocrity, the more that we, rock the whatever goofy gun t-shirts and stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, the more that we actually invest in something that's next level, which I think is the product that I am building and pushing. The more people that jump on that and kind of leave that other stuff behind, I think the better off we really will be.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's putting something very lofty for a t-shirt company, but at the same time, like, think about it, man. Everybody buys t-shirts. We also have hoodies and tanks for folks out there that are hoodie and tank folks. But everybody has to wear a shirt. Everybody likes to wear shirts that that kind of say what they're thinking. But the more people that we get to go like, oh yeah, those are the shirts, like I want those, the more people that are out there starting conversations, the more people that are out there changing minds, and the more people that are picking up Henry Hazlitt's economics in one lesson, or picking up human action, or watching the old Free to Choose series with Milton Freeman. Like, this is all part of the movement, right? And I think it's very important, and so I'm sticking to it and trying to do my best to grow and get the brand competitive. And
Do you see, back to kind of that growth discussion, have you had any talks? I mean, I would say maybe like at the Libertarian Party level, it would be more a lofty goal to be like an official, apparel of the Libertarian Party. But and that might be tricky because I'm sure there might need to be some amount of oversight from the Libertarian Party to say we
like to
approve this and we
yeah.
don't approve this.
So-
But even partnering with like podcasts like ourselves or
Yeah.
something else, maybe smaller scale, but still promoting the message.
Okay, so I'll say this, and obviously I'm a registered libertarian. I'm more of a ANCAP, but I wouldn't say that I would have a problem working with national, but on the widespread message of Decido, like, I don't want to boxed in to a political party.
Which
Yeah.
I totally see.
Yeah.
So-
I get it.
Because like I mean, especially like the fighter jets one, that was a time sensitive one. I mean
Yep.
that would be a brilliant message from the Libertarian Party.
To do
but-
almost like a limited run
Yeah.
that's sponsored by the Libertarian Party.
But from RJ's point of view, he's got to send that to the National Party,
Right.
and then they have to review
There's
it.
red
and then-
tape involved.
Yeah.
But if you only did it for one T-shirt, as opposed to being your entire brand attached to the party,
Yeah.
So I can say what I am doing or what I plan to do. So I definitely want to partner with podcasters, with social media influencers, whatever, and gun tubers, anybody that falls in that realm of freedom, like Eric from Iraq Vet 888 whatever. He's not run around with the LP from a party standpoint, but like, he definitely is saying things that I would put on a shirt, right? So while I would work,
He's really good on one of the important issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
but even if you could get like Vince Vaughn to wear a T-shirt,
yeah, dude. Like,
I mean, that's not how, like, Von Dutch, I think, was one of those brands that was nothing until the Paris Hilton wore it or something like that, and like, boom.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm totally open. And I've made some contacts with some folks in regards to working out an opportunity to boost the brand and have them help me out. The Cajun Libertarian show, Decido already sponsors their show currently. And he's been, dude, he's been wonderful. Andy's done shirt for on TikTok for me whenever he was pushing big numbers and stuff. So like I'm open to other people. So this is honestly, like, people out there, if you want to reach out, you can find me through any of the Decido_brand social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. So you can reach out to any of those, and we can talk about any opportunities to maybe do some kind of partnership. But yeah, I think that really is a big way to grow the brand, and definitely is something that I'm looking at doing. Obviously, doing podcast spots and talking to people and stuff is a good way to get the word out there. But yeah, so it would be really cool if I could have Vince Vaughn or Rob Schneider or somebody that's kind of been on the Liberty, the Liberty run and stuff, wherever, to get a shirt on them and be like, hey, they're wearing Decido shirt. Like, that'd be cool. But we're still, like I said, I'm still at a infancy stage. I'm making good stuff. I mean, Andy can tell you, I think all my shirts feel great.
They're very comfortable. It's really good fabric.
The sizes and everything are, I think,
are libertarian hug.
Well, dude,
basically,
yeah.
Like this shirt, it's not, it's not fitted, but it still fits.
My body. Fits really well.
And I can still conceal a firearm. So
win-win. It's comfortable and you can kill someone. Like, comfortable. So,
I was very meticulous about picking the shirts that I used to print on. And I wanted something that was quality, that was going to hold up, but also felt good. Because obviously you can go and get you those Gildan heavy cotton t-shirts, and you could light them on fire or run them over with a truck, and like they won't break down, but they feel like garbage,
and they're like $60.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Anyways, I try to get good quality stuff to print on, and I want something that people can wear for a long time and not feel like they wasted their money, because everybody, especially nowadays, man, like gas being so high and inflation on the rise and stuff, if you're gonna spend money on a shirt, that shirt better last.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
well, to kind of close things out, kind of going back to where people can find you, are best ideas just to Google, or like you want to give some plugs on social media, websites, etc.?
So Google seems, for whatever reason, Google is like half and half. So if you Google Decido, it may be the first thing pops up. You may never even find it. And I'm working on the back end to try to fix that. But dsYDO.com. And then, like I said, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I think that's all I have actually up and running right now. It's all at Decido_brand. So it's the same across the platforms. If you go to Decido.com, you should be able to link to Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It should link you directly to those pages. Other than that, I mean, I have my personal Twitter, which is I think the WT3 show. Right now, I think that's my handle. I'll probably end up changing it. Haven't decided yet, but my main one for Decido is going to be the Decido_brand.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure as soon as we hang up, like Andy and I are going to be like, how do we collab? Because this is like, it's brilliant to be able to find somebody like you who has the vision, and to be able to share that vision with podcasts, etc. Super exciting, because you know, I mean, there's a lot of apparel options out there, right? And we've got, you know, I think it's through spring is our, you know, most of our stuff is through right now, but I'd much rather give any profits to somebody that I share a common vision with.
Yeah.
So, you know, to be able to partner with you on projects or even limited edition apparel, like we will definitely be in touch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some cool brands doing mashups and stuff wherever. So I'm open. I'm open to ideas. I will say one last little plug for anybody that's still listening. We are going to be participating in all the, you know, Black Friday, Cyber, you know, madness. So shirts and everything will be discounted at different rates, and we'll be starting that sale November 11th. And that will run to the end of November, which I'm double checking my guarantees as far as shipping and stuff. But if you order by the end of November, if you order by the 30th, then everything should be neatly on your doorstep before the holidays. So
yeah.
Well, I'm going to be putting my order in. So, but thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Absolutely.
This is the kind of exciting stuff that I get like all pumped up about. I mean, you're hitting, and for me personally, you're hitting things on multiple levels because I love history. I love starting conversations, and I love cool apparel. So like win.
Well, let me tell you something that I love. I love that you said you're hitting on and then smacked your microphone out of the way of your face.
Dramatic effect.
So for the two women that are listening, I don't hit everything I love. Just throwing that out there.
Oh my God.
I greatly appreciate the opportunity. You know, having a bullhorn of any size is great for my brand. So it means a lot to me to be given a platform, regardless of where it is or who it's with. I really do appreciate you guys. And you know, hopefully we'll do some cool stuff in the coming future. And maybe next time I'm on the podcast, I'll be, you know, doing the video from a yacht or something.
There we go. Hey, if that's the case, we better be on the same freaking yacht.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. No, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Let me give out one last little call to action, if you will. To everybody listening, this is how you advance liberty. It's not just voting in the right county commissioner or sheriff or something like that. It's supporting libertarians. It's supporting liberty-minded folks, and like it's going to require some kind of action, you know, whether that action is buying a t-shirt and wearing it out in public that gets conversation started, whether it's going out and just physically talking to people or attending events or, you know, door knocking, whatever it is, you have to get out and do something. And I think that Decido is an excellent way to get out and do something. You know, you put on a shirt, you walk around your hometown and you talk to people. So, that's my call to action. Go buy a fucking shirt. Let's get this guy doing this full time.
Heck yeah.
Fighter jets for everyone.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. RJ, thank you so much for coming on. Are there any final thoughts you want to give us?
No, man. Go out and get you a shirt, guys. Like I said, I'm gonna start to sell November 11th through the 30th, and I hope to, you know, get a lot of people threaded up with some kick-ass Liberty gear.
Hell yeah.
Merry fucking Christmas.
All right. Thanks for listening.